probably the biggest game of the week, and that is Atletico Madrid hosting Liverpool, the Kings of Europe. Now, this is a stadium that's, of course, is a big, big memory for Liverpool fans from last season when they beat Tottenham Hotspur to win the Champions League for a sixth time. And it was a very uneventful final from what I can remember. It wasn't exactly a game to remember, but for Liverpool fans, they didn't care. Neither did their manager, Jurgen Klopp. He finally got his hands on that European Cup. Can they do it again this season? Can Atletico Madrid stop that Liverpool train? Because no one can stop it at the moment. I'm delighted to be joined again with Luke Tanner, the Liverpool fan, and of course Robbie Dunne, who is a writer in La Liga and also based in Madrid. Robbie, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you doing? Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. And of course, Robbie, you cover Spanish football. You certainly have a passion for football. How do you feel about this game? Because Atletico Madrid is a club that you can never underestimate. They're always up for a big occasion under the management of Diego Simeone. How do you think this will go? Do you think they've got a good chance of stopping that Liverpool train?
A good chance, I would have to say no, but of course they have a chance. They're in the tie, so I mean it's not a foregone conclusion. But just given the fact that I don't cover the Premier League, but I do keep an eye on it, and I know how good Liverpool are and have been. I saw them in that Champions League final. I've seen them. I've seen what they've been doing in the Premier League, and just based on what we've seen from Atletico and some of the things we've heard from Simeone. I mean, they bought João Felix in the summer for 126 million, and he hasn't really settled into the squad. There have been issues with kind of selection and tactics, and Simeone doesn't really know what to do in terms of this new, I suppose, this new stage of his tenure as the Atletico Madrid manager. So, yeah, it's a little bit confused at the moment at Atletico Madrid. They haven't been great, and yeah, I'd be slightly concerned for them heading into this tie against the juggernaut that is Liverpool. Yeah,
Luke, how do you feel? Because your team are, well, unless the coronavirus kills us all, you've won the Premier League title. As far as we're concerned, 25 points clear at the top. Surely, Jurgen Klopp is looking at the Champions League, thinking we're better than we were 12 months ago. So really, they're expected to win it again. Do you think Atletico Madrid could be a problem, or do you think it should be a cakewalk, as some would say?
Well, some fans might say it's a cakewalk, but for me, I think it can be a potential banana skin. Obviously, Atletico have vastly underperformed this season, but it's teams like this that do like to cause Liverpool problems. Obviously, in the group, we lost and drawn to Napoli, and they like to play a very defensive 4-4-2, which is unfortunately Atletico's favourite formation and style of play. So I can see it being a game where Liverpool are knocking on the door, and it'll be up to Atletico to hold Liverpool out for as long as they can, really. And I think Liverpool are heavy favourites to win the tie, and they're heavy favourites to go on and be the first English club to retain the Champions League. But it's going to be no like 5-6-0 over aggregate scoreline. It's going to be a lot closer, like a 2-1, 3-1 maybe.
Robbie, I mean, Atletico Madrid, surely with themselves hosting this first leg, I'm sure Diego Simeone is to just look at it and think, as long as we don't concede an away goal, then then the pressure's on Liverpool when they go back to Anfield.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're gonna see. This is the thing: we have to the fact that Atletico do have them at home in the first leg tomorrow night. It kind of puts the onus maybe on Atletico to attack the game a little bit, because if they're planning on going to Anfield and getting a result, I mean, I don't really think that's probably the optimum strategy heading into this one. Yeah, and I mean, listen, I understand that Simeone has been at the club since 2011, and he's kind of built this this kind of personality around the squad that they love being underdogs. They're really defensive, really dogged. But this isn't the same Atletico Madrid that we saw making it to two finals in the last couple of years, winning La Liga against all the odds. It's not the same. They've lost Diego Godin, Felipe Luis, they've lost Juan Fran, Gabi has been taken out of the middle. Diego Costa's not going to play, he's not been playing, and he's not the same player as he was at the time. They lost Antoine Griezmann, and listen, I understand that Griezmann hasn't settled into Barcelona fully yet, but we're still looking at like a top 10 player in the world that they lost in the summer. This isn't the same Atletico Madrid. They've got problems within the squad, I don't want to say loyalty within the squad, but just kind of buy-in from some of the players. Thomas Lemar hasn't settled in. João Felix has been kind of making some noise. There's murmurs that he's not quite happy. It's not the same Atletico Madrid, and I understand where all that talk is coming from. They love being underdogs. But realistically, if we're talking about the recent past, as in this season, Liverpool are heavy favourites for this. And I just struggle to see how Atletico get a result from the game.
Absolutely. And actually looking at the players at Atletico Madrid at the moment, Robbie, if you were talking to a Liverpool fan Luke, I know, Luke, you enjoy La Liga, but if you were talking to a Liverpool fan that doesn't follow this team at all, who would you say is the player to look out for? Because I do look at the list, and as you say, Diego Costa's not exactly been great. Felix hasn't been great. Hector Herrera, no one really talks about him, the Mexican midfielder. I have a big love for Mexico football, so it's good to see a Mexican at a big club. But how do you feel? Who do you think is the man Jurgen Klopp should keep an eye on?
It's probably going to be Angel Correa. He has been at the club for a number of years. Couldn't find any minutes due to the fact that Griezmann kind of plays in his role, and he's aesthetically, he's not very pleasing to watch, as in he makes a lot of mistakes. He's very unpredictable. He's very volatile in his performances, but one or two moments of magic from him, and he might be the difference maker. But aside from that, it's just Hector Herrera probably won't even play because Marcos Llorente has been playing recently, and Koke is back into midfield. Thomas Partey and Saul will be the other midfielders. So yeah, Angel Correa is the player, but he could also go out and just not perform, which has happened with him in the past. And I just think, I just think Liverpool, they've been absolutely awesome in the last year and a half, and I think Klopp has them going so well, and has them they're just brimming with confidence. And I think Atletico Madrid know that they're going to try to fight the tide and try to keep them out, but I'm going to say it again. I just don't know how to get a result.
We'll certainly find out on the night. But Luke, let's start off with you. What's your prediction in this first leg? We'll just talk about the first leg because the second leg is not for a few more weeks.
I think for the first leg, I think Atletico are going to be quite defensive and make sure that Liverpool leave Madrid with no goals scored. So I can honestly see it being like a 0-0 game.
A 0-0 game?
See it being a 0-0 game, yeah. I could honestly see it, yeah.
Interesting.
Liverpool this season in Europe they've been unconvincing. Obviously, we finished top of the group, but if you look at the performances, Salzburg at home weren't great, Napoli away wasn't great, so it looks like on paper we've been playing really well, but in the group we're flattered to deceive, just like we did last season.
But in a way, Luke, Liverpool have had it tough in the Champions League group stage, but now that they're in a healthy position in the Premier League, surely they put more energy into it?
I'd say so, but obviously Jurgen Klopp's not going to be thinking like that. He's thinking of probably the double, and obviously being the first English club to retain the Champions League.
Yeah.
So obviously he will still go strong. The team picks itself really. I'd imagine Fabinho and Mane will just slot straight back in, and it will be full strength and business as usual.
Robbie, do you think Spanish football will have an answer against Liverpool in this first leg? What's your prediction?
I think maybe I'm kind of torn between maybe 2-1 and 3-1 to Liverpool. That is, I'm going to say 2-1. I mean, when you look at the likes of Roberto Firmino, like world class number 9, dropping between the lines. Atletico don't really have a defensive midfielder that's going to be able to stop him. Like, I mean, there's so much nuance in his game, and his ability to find space and cause danger is almost second to none as that kind of false 9. He's going to cause all kinds of problems. And as far as I'm concerned, Sadio Mane. If it wasn't for Lionel Messi, we're talking about the best footballer in the world here, and he's just going to cause all sorts of problems for Atletico and Liverpool. They're just a whirlwind, and they're solid defensively. They're strong, physical, fast, good on the counter, good at set pieces. Like they've got everything, and it's a credit to Klopp. I mean, I've got an awful lot of respect for when we were younger. We used to go across to Anfield from where I'm from in Ireland, and we watched Liverpool for years. And I understand the pain that Liverpool fans have gone through in the last 20 years, not winning much, and now all of a sudden they've got a team that can literally compete against anyone in the world, and they're certainly at the vanguard of everything good that's happening in European football. And I think they're just so strong in every line of the field, and they've got so much danger from midfield, Wijnaldum, players like that, and then of course Mane, Salah. I didn't even mention Salah when I was talking there. Like, I mean, they're just so dangerous, and I think Atletico, if Liverpool go one ahead, we could be looking at maybe 2 or 3.